Amani Nama rocking, peace and blessings. It's Dr. K here. Sissy Mary Sue, Education Fund, back again with an awesome podcast for you. Today, we are so honored and thrilled to have Philadelphia icon, playwright, father, grandfather, great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather, we got one.
Great-grandfather, looking young as ever, so, you know, let me say that's awesome right there. Playwright, Mr. Richard A. Murray. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me,
yes,
man. That awesome introduction.
Right?
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I want to let the audience know that I've had the pleasure of working and learning from this brother for close to maybe like almost 15 years.
About 15,
about 15 years.
Some time for sure.
About 15 years. So started out in food
play. Yep, up in Massachusetts. Food play productions, and we did nutritional plays for kids from 5th to 8th.
Yeah.
The 8th grade.
K
to 5.
K to 5.
K to 5.
Plays were received throughout the Northeast and all.
Yeah, from Massachusetts to Alabama.
From Massachusetts to Alabama. Shout out to Alabama too.
Shout out to Alabama. Yeah, some great fun there at the little planetarium. We were there doing the show for the kids.
Okay.
It was great.
Yeah. So.
And your music was awesome with it.
Yeah, we have that connection, folks. We know Mr. Murray lays down some awesome, poignant writing for the productions. He'll send me, a line or two, sometimes a whole scene, sometimes, like I said, a line or two, and it connects. It works.
Yes, it works.
Yeah, so let's dive into a few of these questions. I got some questions here. And we just want to just wrap a taste and give you a more insightful idea of the brilliance of the theme that you have here, that we have here with us today. So, first question is, what inspired you to become a playwright?
That's people ask me that question all the time. I'm not really sure what inspired me. It just seemed like that's just what I've been doing my whole life. I remember in 3rd grade, they used to give us spelling words, a list of spelling words. You write 10 times, you write a sentence for each. And from there, I just never wrote a sentence. I always wrote a story and just inserted the word somewhere in the story.
Wow.
And I've been doing it ever since. I think I wrote my first play though in 1999.
Okay.
My first play ever went on.
Okay. Do you remember the name? What was the name of the play?
Raheem's Spirit Train. Raheem's Ride on the Spirit Train.
Raheem's Ride on the Spirit
Train.
Train.
Yeah, it was a monologue play. It
was
a play where we talked about Black history, and Raheem was a young man that would get in trouble.
Okay.
And one night he went to sleep and he dreamt, and the Spirit Train came and picked him up and taught him about all of these different ancestors, Black historical ancestors, and it trained went all over the universe and it let people on in different eras of the time of the world. And Raheem learned to be of service.
Okay.
So he had to serve them in different ways and learn humility. And on top of that, he learned how to just be a better person as when he woke up, he was a different young man.
Man, that sounds like we should redo that for right now. Right, Spirit Train. Oh man, the dude, who was the actor? Do you remember the actor who did the monologue?
Well, there were we had 12 historical figures, so we had 12 actors.
Oh, okay.
And then we had a young man that played Raheem. I don't remember his name.
Okay.
But they would come out, and as they would get on the train, exit the train, they would give their monologue about who they were, what they did in life. And so it wasn't a lot of conversation, but it was just introducing the audience to these historical figures. And we did that play at the convention center in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Convention Center. Okay, 1999.
Yeah.
And that description that you give is just as relevant then as it is now, more so probably now. How has Philadelphia influenced your work and your creative process?
Well, one thing about the Philadelphia theater community, they are open and welcoming, and they give you a chance, and that's what happened to me. Somebody gave me an opportunity to just kind of help out in the theater, and you know, I just loved it so much that I just became, I don't know, just connected to it, and meeting people. And I remember many times I worked for no money, many times just to be at the show, near the show, be involved in the show and things like that. So a lot of opportunities came my way through Philadelphia theater community.
Okay, yeah. Who were some of your, some of the folks who inspired you along the way or mentored you along the way?
I mean, Bruce Robinson, Connie, Connie, what's his name?
I know, I know Connie. Can't think of her last name, but yeah, Miss Connie.
Miss Connie was, I mean, she really gave me a lot of opportunity. She's the one who taught me how to be a stage manager.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, she taught me. I remember my first stage management gig. I wore a white shirt because I thought, well, I'm in charge. You wear a white shirt.
Take that white shirt.
And she's like, yeah, you don't wear no white shirt as a stage manager.
You better get a black shirt right away.
So and Carol Sims-Lee Smith gave me opportunities at Prince Theater. You know, so I had a lot of people that gave me a lot of opportunities to not only learn theater, but actually put my own plays on. Have my own plays produced and have an audience see them. So.
That's awesome. And shout out to Carol Sims-Lee Smith, because we're recording and filming here in the beautiful CSN Productions facility here in East Falls. You know, by all means, if you happen to be in the Philadelphia area and you're looking for a place to like shoot your content, film your content, get in touch, csnproductions.com. csnproductions.com. info@csnproductions.com. So, fabulous facility. We got Brother Lee Evans. Lee is, you know, Lee's behind the scenes, but he's in the mix.
Always in the
mix. So, on the other side of this camera is a genius. Sitting right here is a genius. I'm just dude along for the ride. Listen. How do you approach collaboration with other creatives?
Well, I think that probably you and I have the deepest collaboration as far as history and far as actually getting shows and productions done. And the way I approach it is just that you let people do what they do best, and you do what you do best, and you know, be able to compromise and don't look at it as a competition. It's not about who's right or who's wrong, nothing like that.
Right.
It's about what works and what's best for the audience.
I say, that's awesome. What would you think is the most challenging part of the writing process?
I don't know, maybe coming up with the actual theme of the story. What message do you want to send to the audience that you're targeting? Make sure that they can understand it in a way, and always understand that the audience understands way more than you think they do.
Right.
I think that's a big lesson for me as a writer.
Yeah. Giving the audience a chance to, or respecting that intellectual levels of your audience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. What role do you think theater plays in society today, especially in this particular, and I guess this might be an inflection point where we are in society. So how is theater contributing to society? What role do you think it plays in society?
I think it plays the same role that it's always played. I think it reflects society. It gives commentary on different aspects of society, relationships, political, nutritional. Yeah. You know, and so I think as a theater, one thing I've learned from like the many people that I've worked with is that you should walk out different than how you walked in from a theater show.
Yeah.
It should be something that changes in you for it to be good theater. And I think it still holds that same role that it has always held, to speak to society and let them give it a mirror of themselves.
And maybe there's civic and civic, maybe spiritual responsibility, if depending on the content of the play.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Depending on the demographic, the content, all that.
Yeah. Have you seen the changes in representation in theater here in Philadelphia? And let me just get 100 to keep it a bean. Has the demographics in terms of white and black film directors, white and black technical people, how has that changed over the years, or do you still see it as kind of like a lack of representation in various parts of theater?
Well, in some places there is going to be a lack of representation, both black and white. I mean, I've worked with theaters that, had all black people or Latino or LGBTQ. I've done all of those type of theaters, and they may not have as many representations of other ethnic groups or other communities as someone else. Yeah. But as a whole, I think that the representation is probably at a good level in some places again. But I think what's the biggest problem is the access to resources.
The resources
to get that's where probably the biggest deficit and the biggest gap that we have versus the actual representation.
Access gap.
Yes, the access gap is much more important. It's much more prevalent. It's much more prevalent than the representation gap.
All right. So it's a matter of access, and that is a great way to bring that question, to kind of like recenter that question. Not even so much, like you said, not so much as the representation, but it's the access to various resources that can make a theater production, take it into like the next level.
Absolutely.
Right.
I've worked on many shows that were just incredible shows with incredible actors that never really saw the light of day. Had low attendance, but it be because they didn't have the access to certain resources to promote it properly or things of that nature.
You have to have that access or the wherewithal, or access to promotion and access to financial resources.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not cheap to put a production together, no matter how small it is.
What are some of the rewards in terms of like that you feel when you see your production? You see the production, come to its fruition.
Well, the first time that happened again was in 1999, and I didn't know much about directing, didn't know much about real conversation in plays or how to build a story. But seeing that play and seeing people say the words that I wrote at the kitchen table was indescribable, actually. I mean, I don't know how people, but I cried when it first happened to me.
Yeah.
Over the years I've seen it, and I still feel that same just unspeakable joy that I did what the Creator has asked me to do and get this message out to the people.
Yeah.
And so that feeling, that sense of accomplishment, I guess, that I had all this stuff inside of me now, and all these people are hearing it. Is I don't really know how to describe that, but it's not a bad thing. It's one of those things where people say it's phenomenal, but it's a spiritual experience. Yes, it is.
To hear something that you've written or that you performed.
Absolutely.
Hear somebody else, in my case, hear someone else sing it.
Right.
You stand there like, I wrote that.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. And we both experienced that with the summer camp. We did the theater summer camp, and we put on several shows with original songs and original choreography and original stories with students that were great actors, some in the middle, some never acted before, and it's always worked out.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Carol's theater summer camp.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, CSN summer youth summer performing arts program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, taking her concept was to take kids who had no experience with theater.
Yes.
She brings them to you,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, they're by the second rehearsal, got them doing dancing and all the whole thing. So when we talk about that, especially with Sissy Mary Sue, it's empathy-driven education, empathy-driven theatrical productions. How does empathy play a role in what you create and what you design?
Well, I think empathy plays a big role. I used to be what they call a standardized patient educator, and I teach medical students how to. One of the things you teach them is communication as well as examination maneuvers. But the communication and teaching people empathy, you'd be surprised how many people don't have it and don't use it as they should and things like that. But all of my shows, anything that I write is going to have that type of love, empathy, welcoming of somebody new or different. How they feel when they walk into a strange place or have been in a trauma situation. I think empathy is the lifeblood of being kind.
The lifeblood of being kind. That's awesome.